Welcome back. In our previous video, we talked about the prepositional phrase rules. In this video, we are going to discuss the phrase structure rules for the verb phrase. We already know that in phrase structure grammar, the tense phrase is used to represent a sentence, and in every sentence, we have two major constituents, that is, the noun phrase and then the verb phrase. The noun phrase over here in traditional grammar is what constitutes the subject of the verb, and then the verb phrase is the predicate in the sentence. Therefore, if we have this sentence, the very tall lanky man with a red bag outside a new building unintentionally bought a car, this part that constitutes the subject is our noun phrase, and then the other part that constitutes the predicate will be our verb phrase. That is the tense phrase rule or the sentence rule of phrase structure grammar. Now we are done with the elements that can occur in the noun phrase. That is where we talked about the noun phrase rules. We talked about the adjective phrase rules, and then the adverb phrase rules, and the prepositional phrase rules. So up to this point, I hope that if you are given any kind of noun phrase to expand or to draw a tree diagram for it, you will be able to do it with ease. We are going to focus on the next part, the next major constituents in the sentence, that is the verb phrase. Rule number 1 of the verb phrase is that sometimes you can get a sentence where the verb phrase consists of only the verb. That is when you have intransitive verbs. So this is the first rule. A verb phrase that consists of only a verb. For example, the children slept. If we were to draw a tree diagram for this, the noun phrase part will be the children, because it constitutes our subject, and then the verb phrase part will be slept, and it is just one word. So you can be given a sentence where the verb phrase part is just a single verb. If you have that, then how are you going to draw the tree for it? We will see it in a moment. Another sentence is the old man died. Can you identify the part which serves as our NP? Obviously, it is the old man. And then, which part serves as our VP? It is died. And it is a single verb. That is the minimum form of the verb phrase that you can get. It can be made up of only a verb. That is rule number 1. Emmanuel smiles. Here, Emmanuel constitutes our NP, and then smiles is our VP. Therefore, we have just one verb serving as our verb phrase. Let us take it on a sentence level. First of all, we will need our TP. So the TP here stands for the entire sentence. And this sentence is made up of what? An NP. Let's take this for an example. The NP part is the children. So we will break it down. We already know how to expand the noun phrase. It consists of the determiner, which is the, and then the noun, which is children. Now, let us move on to the VP part. The rule is saying that if we have one word as our verb phrase, then we will have the verb phrase consisting of the verb, and then we will write the verb below it. This is the tree that is going to be generated. The verb phrase part, VP, which is this part of the sentence, is made up of only one verb. So we will need only one branching node, and then we represent our verb. Therefore, we will draw our vertical line. Since it consists of only one verb, we will write our verb below it. This is how to represent verb phrases with only one verb. The verb phrase will consist of only a single verb. Then you write the verb below it. Let us take this example. The old man died. So here we would have our NP. What is our NP in the sentence? It is the old man. The old man. We already know how to expand this particular noun phrase to its constituents. We are not going to focus on that, so we would leave this. Let's move on to this part because we are dealing with the verb phrase. In this sentence, we have died as the only word constituting the verb phrase. Therefore, we have the verb phrase made up of only one verb, which is died. Let us move on to the last sentence. Emmanuel smiles. This is a tense phrase. It is a sentence and it consists of a noun phrase NP and then a verb phrase smiles. But this verb phrase contains only one verb. Therefore, our verb phrase consists of only one verb. This is the first rule. Verb phrases consisting of only one verb. This is how to draw the tree for it. Now that we know how to represent verb phrases consisting of only one verb, let us move on to rule number 2, where the verb phrase consists of the verb, which is the head, and then some other elements. Remember that the verbs that support this kind of verb phrase are all intransitive verbs. They do not demand the occurrence of any elements as complementation. Now that we know how to represent verb phrases consisting of only the head word, let us move on to see where the verb phrase consists of the head word and some other elements. That brings us to rule number 2. In rule number 2, we have a verb phrase that consists of the verb, that is the head, and an adverb phrase. Let us give some examples. The children slept quietly. We know that this part in black is our noun phrase parts, and the parts in red are the verb phrase parts. In the first sentence, the children slept quietly. Slept quietly is our verb phrase. And what are the constituents of this verb phrase? The verb phrase consists of the verb, that is slept, and then an adverb phrase that is qualifying slept. This is an example of the structure that you see over here. Try to write down your own examples from the structure that is given. In the second sentence, the old man died peacefully. The old man is our noun phrase part, and then died peacefully becomes our verb phrase. In this verb phrase, we have the head word died, which is our verb, and then the peacefully becomes our adverb phrase that is qualifying died. Emmanuel smiles beautifully. Smiles beautifully is our verb, and then we have an adverb phrase which is qualifying the verb smiles. Let us see how to draw the tree diagrams when we have a verb phrase consisting of only the verb and then an adverb phrase. Remember, the rule says that the verb phrase should consist of the head, which is qualified by an adverb phrase, not an adverb. So for example, in the first one, the verb phrase consists of the verb slept. That is what we see here, slept, and then quietly. But quietly, according to our rule, is an adverb phrase. Therefore, the verb phrase consists of slept, which is our verb, and then an adverb phrase. And this adverb phrase can be broken down further. We have learned the rules for breaking down adverb phrases. So this adverb phrase consists of an adverb, that is quietly. If you haven't watched the rules on expanding adverb phrases, kindly do so. This adverb phrase contains only a single word adverb, that is quietly. So this is the rule that will be generated for this part of the sentence, that is the verb phrase. This verb phrase consists of the verb, which is the head word slept, and then this verb is qualified by an adverb phrase quietly, making the verb phrase. That is what we have here. They as our verb, that is the head word, and it is qualified by an adverb phrase. And this adverb phrase consists of only the adverb, that is quietly. Now that we've been able to account for the first part, slept quietly, can you try the second part, died peacefully? You can pause this video and then try to represent died peacefully using the tree as we did for slept quietly. This is how the tree will look like. Died peacefully is a verb phrase, and it consists of the verb died, and then it is qualified by an adverb phrase. And this adverb phrase consists of only one word adverb, that is peacefully. So this is the tree that is going to be generated from the second verb phrase in our list. What about smiles beautifully? It is also going to have the same structure like these two phrases. Can you try? Pause the video and draw the verb phrase for smiles beautifully. So here the verb phrase will consist of a verb that is smiles and then beautifully, an adverb phrase qualifying a verb. And this adverb phrase contains only one adverb, that is beautifully. This is what to do when you have a verb phrase where the verb is the head word and the head word is being qualified by an adverb phrase. So remember that in phrase structure grammar, a phrase is a qualifier or a modifier of a head. Two heads cannot be placed on the same position or on the same level. If you write adverb over here, what you mean is that the adverb is the head of the verb phrase and the verb is also the head of the verb phrase. You cannot do that. Phrases serve as modifiers or qualifiers in the phrase. Therefore, you need to make it sisters of the head. A phrase must be the sister of a head, but the head cannot be a sister of another head. This is the structure for rule number 2. A verb phrase consisting of a verb and an adverb phrase qualifying it. I hope you know the meaning of the brackets. It means that the verb phrase can contain the verb, and this adverb phrase is optional. We can remove it. For example, you can say the children slept, so it is optional. That is rule number 2. This is an activity. Write down this rule, then write down verb phrases of this structure and try to draw your tree diagrams for the structure provided. In the next video, we are going to talk about the rule number 3 for verb phrases. We are going to add more elements, more constituents to the verb phrase. Rule number 3. Here we are adding more constituents to our verb phrase. So the verb phrase is getting more complex. You need to take your time in order to understand this rule very well. Rule number 3 accounts for a verb phrase that consists of an adverb phrase as a modifier, the head, and another adverb phrase as a qualifier. Can you give me examples of verb phrases in this structure? Here is an example. The children really slept quietly. The part in black makes up our noun phrase, but we are not focusing on noun phrases for now. We are focusing on verb phrases. So let's focus on this verb phrase. Really slept quietly. Can you identify the constituents? We have an adverb phrase, really. Then we have our verb, that is the head, slept. And we have quietly, another adverb phrase. So this verb phrase consists of an adverb phrase modifying the head and then an adverb phrase qualifying the head. If you are given this structure to provide examples of it, here are some of the examples that you can write. An adverb phrase modifying the head verb and then an adverb phrase qualifying the head verb. Another example is this. The old man fortunately died peacefully. Here we have the verb phrase consisting of an adverb phrase, the verb, and another adverb phrase. In the same way, Emmanuel intentionally smiled beautifully. We have an adverb phrase that consists of an adverb, and then we have our verb and another adverb phrase. These are examples of the structure that we have. Let us draw trees for these adverb phrases, starting with really slept quietly. This is a verb phrase, and these are the constituents. So how many branches do you think our tree is going to generate? First of all, our VP will stand for the whole of this. Really slept quietly. It has three constituents. The first constituent is an adverb phrase. According to our rule, it is an adverb phrase. So we have our adverb phrase over here. And what does this adverb phrase constitute? It consists of one word adverb, that is really. Let us move on. Our verb phrase also has the head word, that is the major constituent, the verb, that is slept. So the verb here is the head word of the verb phrase. And then we have another adverb phrase that is qualifying the verb. This adverb phrase consists of one word adverb, that is quietly. Phrases are sisters to the head in the verb phrase. Phrases are sisters to the head in the verb phrase. In the verb phrase, the verb is the head. So the other words that come with the head are either modifying or qualifying the verb. Therefore, they must be phrases and they must not be heads. That is why we first write adverb phrase instead of writing adverb. You will need to write a phrase because it is the phrase that is a sister to the head word. If this is the tree generated from really slept quietly, I hope you can easily draw your tree diagram for fortunately died peacefully. Can you try? Pause the video and try it. Here is what we are going to get if we represent fortunately died peacefully in a tree diagram. First of all, we have our verb phrase that consists of an adverb phrase, a verb, and another adverb phrase. Our verb is our head word, so it is died. This adverb phrase consists of one word adverb, that is fortunately, and then the other adverb phrase serving as a qualifier also consists of one word adverb, that is peacefully. This is the tree generated when you have an adverb phrase modifying the verb head and then another adverb phrase qualifying the verb head. Now that we've been able to draw our tree for the second part, the second verb phrase, can you try the third part, that is intentionally smiled beautifully? Kindly pause the video and draw your tree diagram for this verb phrase. The verb phrase here is going to give us this tree. That is the verb phrase consisting of an adverb phrase, that is intentionally, and then our main verb, that is our head word, smiled, and another adverb phrase. These are the three major constituents. Within this adverb phrase, we can see that it consists of only one word adverb. Therefore, we draw our vertical line and write ADV to represent the adverb, that is the head of this phrase, intentionally. We also need to expand this adverb phrase. It consists of one word adverb, that is beautifully. These are the trees that are going to be generated when we have an adverb phrase modifying a verb and an adverb phrase qualifying a verb in the verb phrase structure. In our next video, we are going to add more constituents to the verb phrase. That will make up rule number 4. Kindly take your time, rewatch the previous videos and master each and every step. Let us move on to rule number 4. In rule number 4, you can be given a verb phrase that consists of an adverb phrase, which is one or more, and then your verb head, and another adverb phrase, which is one or more, serving as a qualifier. All that we are saying is that you can be given a verb phrase where the verb head is modified by more than one adverb phrase, and at the same time it is also qualified by more than one adverb phrase. Pause the video and try to write down an example verb phrase of this structure. Here are some phrases that can be written for this rule. The children makes up our noun phrase. That is not our focus. We are looking at the verb phrase. All these constitutes the verb phrase. Therefore, in this verb phrase, the head word is the verb slept, which means that always becomes one adverb phrase that is modifying the head word. Really also makes up one adverb phrase modifying the head word. Quietly is the third adverb phrase modifying the head word, and then indeed becomes our fourth adverb phrase modifying the head word. Slept becomes our head, so we will represent it with this H. Let us move on to see more examples of this structure. Similarly, in the second sentence, we have Emmanuel rarely intentionally smiles unusually beautifully. This is very rare in normal English communication. Since we are accounting for constituents within the sentence, this rule matches our verb phrase over here. That is, a verb phrase consisting of the verb, that is, the head word. Identify the head word in the verb phrase. Rarely intentionally smiles unusually beautifully. What is the head word? The head word is smiles. That is the main verb. So this is our head word, our V. Then we have these adverb phrases modifying and qualifying the verb head respectively. So first of all, we have rarely as the first adverb phrase modifying smiles. Also, we have intentionally as our next adverb phrase modifying smiles. We have unusually our next adverb phrase which is qualifying smiles. And then we have beautifully our next adverb phrase which is also qualifying smiles. In this sentence, we can see that for the verb phrase part, it consists of more than one adverb phrase. That is, here we have two adverb phrases. That is the meaning of the plus sign over here. It means the verb phrase can consist of more than one adverb phrase. That is why we have two adverb phrases over here, and both of them are modifying the verb head. The verb phrase can also consist of more than one adverb phrase, serving as the qualifier. So in this sentence, or in this part of the verb phrase, we have unusually as one adverb phrase and then beautifully as another adverb phrase. In all, we have two adverb phrases serving as the qualifier, which means it is more than one. That's why we have the plus sign over here, to show that the verb phrase can consist of more than one adverb phrase in the modifying position and at the same time at the qualifying position. Let us draw the tree diagram for always really slept quietly indeed. This is going to generate a verb phrase. This verb phrase contains an adverb phrase as a modifier. The first adverb phrase is our adverb. It consists of only one adverb, that is always. So we are done with always. Now the next adverb phrase is really. Really is an adverb phrase which is also modifying the head. So we draw another branch to represent really, and this adverb phrase consists of only one adverb, that is really. Now the next part is the verb itself, that is the head of the phrase. So we draw a branch to represent the head of the verb phrase, that is the verb slept. Now to the qualifying positions or the post-modification positions. Here we can have this adverb phrase quietly qualifying the verb that is slept. So we draw a branch to make up for our adverb phrase. This adverb phrase quietly consists of a single word adverb quietly, and then the last one will be another adverb phrase, that is indeed. So we are done with quietly. Moving on to indeed. Indeed is also an adverb phrase that is qualifying the verb head slept. So this adverb phrase indeed is made up of an adverb, that is indeed. Here we have represented the verb phrase in this part using the tree diagram. Let us move on to the next part. Emmanuel rarely intentionally smiles unusually beautifully. Here we are going to get this tree diagram. First of all, the whole of this is a verb phrase. and this verb phrase has an adverb phrase, another adverb phrase modifying the verb head, and it also has two different adverb phrases which are both qualifying the smiles, which is the verb head. Let us account for the first part of the adverb phrase, that is rarely. This verb phrase consists of the adverb phrase, which also consists of only one adverb, that is rarely. Then the next adverb phrase will be intentionally. So this adverb phrase consists of an adverb, that is intentionally. So we are done with rarely and then intentionally. Now let us move on to represent our verb head, that is smiles. To represent smiles, we draw another branch and then write our verb smiles. The reason why we don't write VP here is that we are already dealing with the verb phrase. So it means that the head word of the verb phrase should come not as a modifier, not as a qualifier, but as a head. And if you want to indicate if the verb is the head of the verb phrase, then you should not repeat any verb phrase again. So never make this mistake. The verb phrase always had the head, which is the verb. It is the other modifiers that are going to remain in their phrase forms because they are modifying the head. But for the head itself, you will not write it in a phrase form. So let's clean this part so that we get a clearer picture of what we are doing. Now let us move on to the qualifying position. We have two different adverb phrases qualifying the smiles. Therefore, we draw one branch to account for the first adverb phrase, that is unusually. So this adverb phrase consists of an adverb, that is unusually, and then we have another adverb phrase, that is beautifully. It consists of one adverb, that is beautifully. We are done representing this particular verb phrase on our tree. Try to write down a similar structure and then draw a tree diagram for it. In the next part, we are going to add more constituents to the verb phrase. As you can see, it is getting more complex. So kindly take your time, go back to the previous videos and make sure that you have mastered each and every rule before we add more constituents to the subsequent rules. Rule number 5. We are going to add one more constituent to the verb phrase. Rule number 5. Here we are adding one more constituent to the verb phrase. The rule number 5 states that the verb phrase can consist of more than one adverb phrase, the head word, that is the verb, a noun phrase, and then more than one adverb phrase. What kind of verbs do you think will give us a noun phrase after them? They are transitive verbs, so it means that whenever you have a verb phrase structure where the head word is a transitive verb, then you are going to get a noun phrase after it. That is the new constituent that has been added to the verb phrase rules. Let us give examples of this. Since this verb has only one noun phrase, it is a monotransitive verb. So all monotransitive verbs that exist in the verb phrase are going to have a noun phrase serving as the object. For example, the children always really buy a phone. Quietly indeed. Let us identify the constituents. What is our head? Over here, buy is the head. It is our verb. Can you identify the other constituents? We have always, which is modifying by. So it becomes our adverb phrase number 1. And we have another adverb phrase, really, which is also modifying by. So it becomes our adverb phrase number 2. Here, after by, we have a phone. So a phone will be our noun phrase, the new constituent that has been introduced into our rules. This is because by is a monotransitive verb, so it would demand a noun phrase serving as the object. Therefore, we have our NP over here as what? As phone. Our NP is going to be a phone. A phone is going to be NP. Then we have another adverb phrase, that is the third adverb phrase, quietly, which is qualifying how the phone was bought. And then we have another adverb phrase, indeed, which is also giving us information about how the phone was purchased, which is also another adverb phrase. So we have 4 adverb phrases, the verb head, and a noun phrase. We can expand it once we know the constituents. Now in the second sentence, Emmanuel rarely intentionally bakes bread, unusually beautifully. Let us correct this spelling. Beautifully has double L, so let's place it here. Alright, so Emmanuel rarely intentionally bakes bread unusually beautifully. Here we have one adverb phrase, rarely, because it is modifying the verb bakes. Then we have another adverb phrase, intentionally, which is also modifying the verb bakes. What does the person bake? This becomes our noun phrase because it is serving as the direct object of bake. So we have our noun phrase here, and then we have another adverb phrase, that is unusually. So this is adverb phrase number 3, and we have another adverb phrase, beautifully, which is adverb phrase number 4. Let us draw 3 diagrams for the first part. Always really buy a phone, quietly indeed. Here we have our verb phrase because the whole of this is a verb phrase. This verb phrase consists of a head word, which is a verb, buy. We draw our branch and represent the head word, buy. This head word here, the buy, has modifiers. It has 2 modifiers. Both of them are adverb phrases. So we draw the first adverb phrase, which is always. This adverb phrase consists of only one adverb, that is always. The second adverb phrase is really. So we draw our branch for the second adverb phrase, which also consists of only one adverb, really. Then we move on to the qualifiers. Buy has a noun phrase after it. So according to our rule, this will generate a noun phrase after the head. Therefore, we draw a branch where we have the noun phrase, which is a phone. We know how to expand noun phrases. When you have a noun phrase, let us look at the constituents of the noun phrase. It consists of a determiner, that is a. So we draw our branch and write D, our determiner, a. It consists of the noun, that is the head of this noun phrase, which is phone. Therefore, we write phone below it. We have accounted for the noun phrase. It is left with our qualifiers, that are the adverb phrases, quietly, and then indeed. We draw a branch for our first adverb phrase as a qualifier, that is quietly. So this adverb phrase consists of only one adverb, that is quietly, and then the last adverb phrase also consists of only one adverb, that is indeed. This is how to represent this rule using the tree diagram. Can you try representing the second one? Because it is of the same structure as this one. You can pause the video and then try your hands on the second one. This is the tree that is going to be generated from the second sentence. We are focusing on only the verb phrase, so this part is not considered, the noun phrase part. We already know how to expand the noun phrase. We are focusing on the verb phrase part. Since the whole of this is a verb phrase, we will write our verb phrase. That is what we have here. Now this verb phrase has the head, bakes, and it is a verb. So we draw our branch and represent our head, that is bakes. This head here has modifiers and it has qualifiers. Let us first account for the modifiers. We have one adverb phrase and another adverb phrase, meaning we are going to have 2 branches in our modifying position. We'll have the first branch, which will account for rarely. So this adverb phrase consists of only one word adverb, that is rarely. And then the second adverb phrase also consists of only one word adverb, that is intentionally. We have our verb, that is the head of the verb phrase. And then we have our qualifiers. Now here, since the verb is a monotransitive verb, it is going to have a noun phrase as the object. What is the noun phrase in this sentence? It is bread. Therefore, we draw a branch to account for our noun phrase. Since this is uncountable, it means that this noun phrase is going to generate a tree that has only one branch, that is the noun head bread. Now we are done up to this part. Let us move on to unusually and then beautifully. These are adverb phrases. Each of them is qualifying the verb head. Therefore, we draw two branches to account for each of the adverb phrases. The first branch will account for unusually. Therefore, unusually is an adverb phrase that consists of the adverb unusually. And then beautifully will also have another branch to account for it. So this adverb phrase, the fourth adverb phrase, consists of an adverb, that is beautifully. This is rule number 5. Here is an activity. Write down this rule and write down about 4 verb phrases that have this structure. After that, try to draw tree diagrams for each of the verb phrases that you write. In the next part, that is rule number 6, we are going to add another constituent. Rule number 6 is when we have a ditransitive verb. This is because if you have a ditransitive verb in a sentence, then it means that that verb is going to have 2 objects, meaning it is going to have 2 noun phrases. The difference between rule number 5 and rule number 6 is that the verb in rule number 5 was a monotransitive. You are going to get only 1 noun phrase, but this is a ditransitive. Therefore, you are going to get 2 noun phrases. That is the only difference. The rule maintains that we can have a verb phrase consisting of more than 1 adverb phrase, the verb head, a noun phrase, another noun phrase, and then more than 1 adverb phrase. That is exactly what we have here in red. Always really buy the students a phone quietly indeed. We are going to draw a tree for this. But first of all, let us look at the constituents of this verb phrase. First, let's identify the head. This is the head word, buy. So buy here is the head word of the phrase. It means that always is modifying buy, really is modifying buy. Since they are adverb phrases and each of them is modifying buy, we have 1 adverb phrase and really becomes a second adverb phrase. Since this is a ditransitive verb, it means that we are going to have 2 noun phrases after it. Can you identify the 2 noun phrases? One is the students and the next one is a phone. And we have another adverb phrase number 3, 7 as our qualifier, and indeed our adverb phrase number 4, also 7 as a qualifier. Now let us draw a tree diagram for this particular sentence. First of all, the whole of this, always really buy the students a phone quietly indeed, is a verb phrase. Therefore, we write our verb phrase. Now this verb phrase consists of an adverb phrase, that is the first adverb phrase, and this adverb phrase consists of only 1 word adverb, that is always. Now we are done accounting for always. Let us move on to really. Really is also an adverb phrase. So the verb phrase also consists of another adverb phrase in the modifying slots, and this adverb phrase consists of only 1 adverb, that is really. Let's move on and account for the head word, that is buy. Buy is going to give us this branch, and then we write our verb buy. Now to the constituents that fall on the right of the head, we have the 2 noun phrases. The students becomes our indirect object, where the phone becomes our direct object. So both of them are noun phrases after the head. Therefore, let us expand the first noun phrase, that is the students. So we draw a branch to represent the students. The students is what according to our rule? It is a noun phrase. So we write a noun phrase. And this noun phrase, the students, can be broken down into two major parts because it has two constituents. First of all, we have the determiner, which is the, and then the noun, which is students. That is the first noun phrase. Now let us draw the branch for the second noun phrase, a phone. We would have this branch, then we write our noun phrase, and this noun phrase also has a determiner, a, and then noun, which is phone. So we will have this as our diagram for the second noun phrase. Let us move on to the next one, that is quietly. Quietly was our third adverb phrase. This means that we will draw a branch to represent our third adverb phrase, and this adverb phrase consists of only one adverb, that is quietly. We are left with the last adverb phrase, that is indeed. So we draw our branch. Then we write ADVP to stand for the adverb phrase. This adverb phrase consists of only one word adverb. So we draw our branch and write ADV, that is the head adverb, which is indeed. This is the representation of this verb phrase in tree diagram. Write down a verb phrase based on the rule given and try to draw a tree diagram for it. In the next video, we are going to add another constituent to the verb phrase. That will be rule number 7. Look at this verb phrase rule carefully. How different is it from the previous rule? In this verb phrase, we can see that the only element that we have added is the prepositional phrase. This means that in a verb phrase, you can get a prepositional phrase in it. If you have a prepositional phrase in the verb phrase, then you need to also account for the prepositional phrase. What is the meaning of the plus sign over here? This means that the prepositional phrase can be one or more in the verb phrase. So, in rule number 7, the verb phrase consists of an adverb phrase which can be one or more, then the verb, that is the head of the phrase, and then since it is a ditransitive verb, it will also consist of two noun phrases, that is an NP and another NP. Then the verb phrase can be embedded in it a prepositional phrase which can also be one or more. In addition to the prepositional phrase, you can also have another adverb phrase which is one or more in the verb phrase. This will generate a very long verb phrase, and you need to account for all the constituents in it. Try writing down a verb phrase that has this structure. Here are some examples. The children always really buy the students a phone in the room quietly. Indeed. Let us identify the constituents to see whether they match the rule that has been given over here. First of all, we see that buy is our verb, that is our head. Where are the adverb phrases? We see them here. This is the first one, always is the first adverb phrase, which is modifying the head word buy. Really is also a second adverb phrase, modifying the head word buy. Since buy over here is serving as a ditransitive verb, it means it is going to have two nouns after it, a direct object and an indirect object. So here we have our NP, that is the students, and then we have a phone, our direct object, which is also another NP. Let us move on to the prepositional phrase in this particular structure. Can you identify the prepositional phrase? Over here, the PP is in the room. We have just one prepositional phrase, in the room, and then we have two adverb phrases qualifying the head word by. We have quietly as an adverb phrase, and then indeed as another adverb phrase. So we have three and 4 adverb phrases. Then we have only 1 prepositional phrase and 2 noun phrases. Now let us take our time to draw the tree diagram for this verb phrase that has been given. First of all, we need the VP because the whole of this is a verb phrase. First, we have our adverb phrase. This adverb phrase consists of only 1 adverb, that is always. We are done with this part. Secondly, we have another adverb phrase. This adverb phrase consists of 1 word adverb, that is really. If we move on, we have our head word, that is by. So we draw our branch and represent our head word, the, that is by. Now, since by is a ditransitive verb, it means that we are going to have noun phrases after it. Therefore, let us account for the first noun phrase, the students. We are going to have a branch to represent the noun phrase. This noun phrase, the students, has these constituents: the, which is the determiner, and students, which is the noun. We are done representing the noun phrase after by, which is the indirect object. We are left with another noun phrase to account for, that is a phone. So a phone here is also a noun phrase. Therefore, this noun phrase will consist of the determiner, which is a, and then phone, which is a noun. We are done with this noun phrase. Let us account for the prepositional phrase that we have here. Therefore, we are going to have another branch which will account for the prepositional phrase. We know how to expand prepositional phrases. All that we need to do is to draw a branching node. That is, the prepositional phrase is consisting of a preposition, that is in, and then a noun phrase, that is the room. The room, which is the noun phrase, consists of the determiner, the, and then noun, room. We are done with this prepositional phrase over here, in the room. We still have 2 other constituents to account for. That is, we have 1 adverb phrase and another adverb phrase in the qualifying position. Therefore, we draw our branch to cater for the first adverb phrase in the qualifying position, that is quietly. So this adverb phrase will consist of an adverb, that is quietly, because quietly is the only adverb that makes up this adverb phrase. That is why we have only 1 branch consisting of 1 adverb, that is quietly. What about indeed? We need another branch. This adverb phrase consists of 1 adverb, that is indeed. We are done representing rule number 7 on a tree diagram. Now take your time, write down a similar verb phrase that has this rule or this structure. Thank you for coming this far. We are done with the rules of the verb phrase. Remember, we can add more constituents to the verb phrase, but it will get more complex. Therefore, having this understanding, you can be able to draw trees for any kind of verb phrase that you will encounter. In the next part of the lesson, we are going to focus on the tense phrase or the clause. See you in the next video.